Hello, race fans. Welcome to the Turn 5 Racing Podcast, brought to you by Creekside Entertainment, Speed 77 Radio, Race Chaser Online, and our buddies from Penn Yan Electronics on Main Street in beautiful downtown Penn Yan. I am your host, Steve Ovens, sitting alongside Clint Miller, B-Rad on the soundboard. Boys, the boys are back in town. We got the whole group back for what is going to be a wild night of racing discussion.
Crazy. Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? Having a good time? Can't wait to get discussing what we got to discuss.
I wanted to lead in and say welcome aboard the crazy train, because that's what it's been the last 24 hours here as far as dirt track racing in the Finger Lakes goes. Clint, I just don't even know what to lead off with. Do you know of anything that's happened recently?
Speculation is that there's something going on at Black Rock Speedway.
Yes. That is our lead story this evening, folks. Black Rock Speedway and Dan Harpel has reached an agreement with Dean Hogue to take over as the promoter of the Black Rock Speedway starting in 2014, and looks like it's going to turn out to be a long-term deal, but certainly is going to be in place for the 2014 season. And Clint, when that news broke last night, I know what my reaction was. What was your reaction?
What?
Yeah, that was
this for real?
That was pretty much my reaction as well. I mean, and you take a look at things and what happened at Rolling Wheels and what still hasn't happened at Rolling Wheels. You see that last night, and you say, okay, I'm not going to let this happen to me again. But when that news broke, there was an announcement to go with it, details of what's going to happen, and what's not going to happen initially. Just huge news here. Obviously, the Harpel name will be familiar to a lot of race fans, especially up here in the Northeast. Dan has obviously family connections with the 5 Mile Point Speedway and his brother Andy Harpel. Dan having done work at 5 Mile Point up until 2003. And we should mention also that Steve Kellogg breaking the news last night and getting it out to as many folks. I know Doug from Doug's Dirt Diary had a story as well. And, this was news that I think everybody that either races at Black Rock Speedway or is a fan, everybody kind of collectively took a sigh of relief. And Clint, we both talked about the fact that, if it wasn't for Dean Hogue, we wouldn't have even had a Speedway, and who knows where we'd be right now.
Right, yeah. I mean, kudos to Dean. Like you said, you don't know where you'd be, whether the racetrack could even be open. So you got to give props to the man for trying something. Yeah, it wasn't a full schedule, but it was a part-time schedule. There was racing at the facility, and it was painfully obvious that the people wanted something different. And without going out on a limb and telling Dean, listen, this has got to change. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Attendance was way down. The car count was starting to go down. And I think maybe Dean realized that, maybe it's time to change things up a little bit.
Yeah. And change, and as Steve Kellogg's article stated that was posted around last night, Dean was looking to get out. And I'm happy for him that he wanted to get out, and something came up that allowed him to do so. I don't think anybody would have wanted to continue on through the season with somebody that may have not completely been there as far as the racetrack goes. Along with that news tonight, Clint, we're gonna go into our Woodhull Raceway 2014 preview. We've got some great interviews from the Arnot Mall Car Show this past weekend down in Horseheads. 32 cars took to the Arnot Mall, and
nice-looking race cars.
Nice-looking race cars. And I got to tell you, for 32 cars to go in there for just one speedway, I mean, years past, it had been the Woodhull Raceway Black Rock Speedway car show, and you would fill the mall to the gills with race cars. But I got to tell you, for them to pull 32 race cars for just one speedway, I was pretty impressed with that. And as I talked to a few of the drivers, it's really taxing on these guys to get a car ready for the show. And as one guy who we've had on the show before will tell us, pretty much he's ready to go now. So it's kind of nice. If you can get the car ready to go to the car show, you just got to tinker and tune a little bit before race season approaches. So we've got great interviews with Dillon Groover, Paul Harkenrider, who is entering his second year as a Woodhull Raceway announcer. We've got interviews with Phil Yaw, Ryan Austin, who runs an awesome paint scheme. It's the Welcome Home Troops paint scheme on a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder car.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
I talked to Josh Parker, driver of the 4G Street Stock. We talked to Kevin Parsons. We talked to Mick Seeley, who's coming back and is going to follow not the full tour, but some races on the BRP Can-Am Tour.
New chassis, too, I believe, for Mick Seeley.
You know, we didn't cover that, so I can't confirm or deny that.
I think he bought one of the Knowles cars. Wouldn't
surprise me a bit. We talked to Mick, and we also talked to Teddy Morsman. So some great interviews lined up for tonight. We're excited to get things kicked off, and we also want to mention a couple of announcements going into this week. We wanted to bring up, we will be at Finger Lakes Speed World on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. We'll be doing an hour and 15-minute show there at the Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn as part of the Speed World car show. Thank you to Paul Small for getting us in there for that. Also wanted to bring up Saturday 2 race car parties that will be DJ'd by Creekside Entertainment. One will be the Brady Fultz party out at the Dundee American Legion, 5 p.m. till, out there to help support Brady's efforts in the modifieds this year. Also at the Seneca Falls Elks Lodge will be the Frank Guerri party, the 113 Sportsman Ride for Canandaigua. That's also going to be a 6 p.m. till party out there for Frankie and for Brady Fultz. But wanted to get those announcements out of the way. We're going to take care of a little business here on Turn 5. When we come back, we're going to hit the interviews from the Woodhull Raceway Car Show.
You're listening
to Turn 5. Penn Electronics is the official Radio Shack dealer of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. They're also the only Radio Shack dealer in the Penn area. Visit them at 103 Main Street in beautiful downtown Penn Yan for all of your electronics, cable, music, and cell phone needs. Visit Penn Electronics or give them a call, 315-536-7700. Penn Electronics. RaceChaserOnline.com is your home for news, views, and driver interviews. You can catch everything from F1 to IndyCar, NASCAR, short track, and dirt car. You can also find them on Speed 77 Radio Mondays on Shoutcast. Catch Motorsports Madness live at 7 p.m. and the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report Thursdays at 7 p.m. Race Chaser Online. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. If you need karaoke for your bar or party, or if you need the photo booth to create memories that'll last a lifetime, give Stu a call at 315-481-9700, or you can find him on Facebook, search Creekside Entertainment, or find him on the World Wide Web, www.creeksideentertainmentdj.com.
Your dirt track home for news, discussion, and driver interviews, along with race results. You're listening to Turn 5.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Turn 5 Racing Podcast, brought to you weekly by our friends at Creekside Entertainment, RaceChaserOnline.com, Speed77 Radio, and Penny and Electronics. Clint, we're off to our first interview of the night from down at the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show, and our first interview is with the announcer at the Woodhull Raceway, entering his second season as the Woodhull Raceway announcer. That is Mr. Harkenrider, Paul Harkenrider from the Woodhull Raceway. Let's send it off to that interview. We're spending our Saturday afternoon here at the Arnot Mall in Horseheads, New York for the annual Woodhull Raceway car show here at the mall. And Woodhull is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and we're going to spend some time with the announcer, Paul Harkenrider. And Paul, the car show for years and years has just been that exciting kind of kickoff to the season. Maybe not on-track action, but a lot of buzz here with all the race drivers here.
Oh, absolutely. You get fans from all over the southern tier. You get to meet the drivers before the season. They like to hear what their expectations are. You know, you always like to see the new cars, of course, up close, because not a lot of fans get that opportunity. And so it's a great, and plus this year, it's even probably one of our biggers in the last couple of years. We had about 32 cars roll in last night around 9:30, and it's been a great morning so far.
Yeah, I've already spoke to quite a few drivers that are out, and even drivers that don't necessarily have their race cars here, but still come out, support their fellow drivers in their classes. And let's talk about the upcoming season at Woodhull. You're celebrating the 50th year, and I'm sure they've got a lot of good stuff planned for that.
Oh, absolutely. We start our opening night, which is April 12th. The gates opening at 4:30, racing at 6:30. We're going to have 6 classes that night. Usually we have 5 on opening night. This year we're going to have our mini stocks and front wheel drive, street stocks, late models, crate sportsman, and also we're going to have a special class come in Saturday night, the crate late models. And so it's going to be a great opening night. That's in about 3 weeks from now, and we're owner Ted White and Brandy, they're also very excited, as well as myself, for the opening year.
And what is, just to talk again about the date for opening weekend, I know some of the weather's been a little harsh for us the last couple weeks, but it seems like this weekend we're starting to get a little bit of a break in the weather.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the sun came out yesterday, it came out today, the wind's been blowing, which is really good. It gets the water out of the track and everything, and so, you know, we're going to, hopefully we just get a couple more good days prior to practice, which is actually in 2 weeks from now, which is the 4th and 5th, and so we can see how, from that point on, how good the cars will run prior to the April 12th show.
All right, and let's talk about the 2 vehicles we have here up in center court. Donnie Lawson has just been a powerhouse. Whether he runs a modified at Woodhull or the sportsman at Blackrock, and I see that he's got his car here, going to be returning to defend the title.
Absolutely, and last year it was probably one of the best modified classes we've had in the last probably 25 years or so, and this year is even projected to be even bigger. We had 8 different modified winners last year. Donnie Lawson only won 3 shows, but was so consistent as he maintained the top 5, 14 of the last 18 races, and it was just an absolute show. Billy Van Pelt's back. Chris Doherty, that won the track championship in the sportsman, he also has a modified for the next year, and so it's going to be very, very excited, and I'm very excited to see Donnie Lawson defend his title, because it's been first time in who knows how many years a guy by the last name of Van Pelt was not a track champion.
Yeah, you said it. And let's look over here now to the late model here for Glenn Rittenauer, and another strong competitor who's been pretty tough to beat up there at Woodhull the last couple of seasons.
Absolutely, that was his 6th track championship he won last year, and it was absolutely an awesome year to him battle it out with John Waters. It was week by week that you'd see them two battle it out, and it went down to the very last night of who was going to be the track champion, and Glenn Rittenauer happened to make it out as the track champion.
And, we have this season a little bit of change in structure for the BRP Can-Am late models, with an importance put on home track points. And I've talked to a couple drivers about how that will affect their weekly racing along with the tour points that they can accumulate. But now let's talk about it from the track's perspective. That's a really great thing for you guys, because these guys are going to know that now their home track points and winning that championship is going to be ultimately important if they want to win the tour title.
Oh, absolutely. You get most of these Woodhull drivers do the BRP Can-Am series, and about all the Woodhull regulars are usually at the front of the point standings for the BRPs. Glenn had a very condensed BRP year. He made a couple shows here and there. John Waters made it to everyone. That's why he was the champion. He also finished in the runner-up spot, so that actually helped him. And hopefully Jeremy Wonderling, he has also had a condensed year at the Woodhull Raceway, and hopefully we'll see him come more because he finished in that runner-up spot, and I'm sure he would love to win a Can-Am Series championship like he did back in 2011.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the other divisions, we had the chance to talk to some of the crate sportsman drivers, talk to a couple of the street stock competitors, talk to a gentleman with a front-wheel drive car, got a sharp-looking support the troops and welcome home troops paint scheme. So really a lot of positive things happening down at the Woodhull Raceway.
Oh, absolutely. A great set of drivers. This is my second year announcing now, and I've been able to meet so many great drivers, so many great crew members. It's actually a privilege, and it was great racing last year. We're hoping for the same this year, and the Crate Sportsmen, they were a very strong group as well. Chris Doherty, great guy to talk to, absolutely nice in every way possible. Ray Smith was another good guy, and then Dillon Groover, who was a rookie last year, came up from the ranks, and hopefully he's going to come up more stronger as his second year.
I certainly look for him to have a breakout year this year. Where can folks find information about the Woodhull Raceway on the internet?
Well, you can also go to woodhullraceway.com. You can like us on Facebook. Our Facebook page has been a little bit more updated. We got a new person. Most things on woodhullraceway.com. You can sign up for rainout.com. You can also sign up for our media list. My email is pth3@elford.edu. I send out a press release just about every week from here on out until about September. And you can get a lot of great information towards what types of events are coming up. Also important news is stuff like that.
All right. Well, I thank you for your time this morning, and we'll certainly see you guys out there for opening weekend at Woodhull.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very looking forward to year number 50. Ted White's very excited. We got a lot of new things coming this year, so we hope to see you guys all out at the track at the Woodhull Raceway.
All right, guys. That is the announcer at Woodhull Raceway, Paul Harkenrider. And again, woodhullraceway.com, and find out all the updates. Sign up for the rained out feature, which is really nice. I've used that several times. When the weather's iffy on a Saturday, it's good to know that before you get there. So, guys, check that out, and keep listening here to the Turn 5 podcast.
That was Paul Harkenrider, the announcer from the Woodhull Raceway. And Clint, a lot of exciting things coming up at Woodhull. Can't wait for their season to get started. Get started with practice, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, and then April 12th will be their first show. And thank you to Paul for his time. Clint, our next driver,
young hot shoe, protege of the Van Pelts, Dillon Groover on your Turn 5 podcast.
Well, we've made our way back down to the other side of the Arnot Mall here in Horseheads. We're going to talk to the driver of the 12X Crate Sportsman. They're going to be running at Woodhull Raceway. None other than Dillon Groover. And Dillon, I know last year was the rookie season in the Sportsman, and been a lot of talk over the winter. You guys looking for a breakout season this year?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to racing this year. We got a good package together to win a feature and set big goals, so I'm excited.
What are you looking forward to about Woodhull? I mean, that's a tough bull ring down there.
Yeah, it's been a long winter, and I'm just excited to get back in the car and get out there and go around the track because I just love racing.
When you're driving around down there at Woodhull, what is it about racing down there that you like so much?
Well, I like going fast, and I also like going against competition, so it's good competition, and I really like cars. So
yeah, some of the more stout sportsman cars are run down there at Woodhull. You guys put on a good show down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition down there, and I think that we'll be one to beat. So
who on a weekly basis, who do you get most of your advice from?
My dad and my uncle Billy Van Pelt. He helps me out a lot.
he's had a little bit of success down there at Woodhull.
Oh, yeah, he's had a lot of success. Like our roof this year, there's a crack in it. He stands on it too much from all those future wins.
That's all. And I just look over. He's right. But that's got to be pretty exciting for a youngster to have that kind of experience to ask questions about and how he's done things and what works for him and what doesn't.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be able to have a great sportsman at 14, and yeah, I'm excited to go racing this year.
Let's talk about how you got started in racing. Was it kind of this is kind of what my family does and I like it and this is what I want to do, or where did you start out racing?
I started out behind my Uncle Billy Van Pelt's. His dad had a go-kart track behind his house, and we raced go-karts there, and eventually we went down to Moe's Karting World, and we had 8 championships, and we raced there for 4 or 5 years, and yeah, and we thought it was time to move up a year ago. So
that's cool. What age did you start racing?
Well, we started at 13, but a few weeks into racing, I turned 14.
Okay. And when you started racing with the go-kart stuff, what age did you start racing then?
I started at 4, but that was only racing behind someone's house. And when I got into competition racing, I was at age 8.
Awesome. That's good stuff. I know it takes a lot of good people behind you to get this car out on the track, and I want to give you a chance to thank your sponsors.
Yeah, thank you.
So
I'd like to thank BMS Manufacturing, the Ridge Runner Cafe, Instant Heat Wood Pellets, and I have tons of other people to thank, but yeah, there's a...
All right, and you guys are going to be running a Bicknell chassis. I know that's one that is a favorite in the Van Pelt family.
Yeah, we're comfortable with the Bicknell chassis, and we're going to stay that way.
All right. I was talking to some of the other drivers that have their cars here. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to get them here for the car show. Do you guys have a lot of work to do after the mall show's done before you guys are ready to race?
No, it's pretty much done right now. Just we have to finish up some motor work, and it'll be pretty much done.
That's awesome. Well, Dillon, we look forward to seeing you out at the Woodhull Raceway. And where can fans find you on the internet via Facebook, website, anything of that sort?
We have a Facebook page called Dillon Groover Racing, and just like the page and just follow us. And we have all our information on there, and we post stuff weekly. So.
All right, guys. That's Dillon Groover. He's the driver of the 12X. Great sportsman. You can see him out at Woodhull Raceway this year. Do you guys have any plans of traveling anywhere else other than Woodhull?
Yeah, we plan on going to Penn Can and 5 Mile Point and maybe some other tracks.
Have you ever been to any of those before?
Yeah, I've been to Penn Can twice, and we had some really good runs.
Awesome. All right, well, you guys can see him out there at Penn Can at Woodhull weekly, and we're looking forward to following him. I expect this guy's going to have a breakout year this year. You're listening to Turn 5.
All right, Clint, that was Dillon Groover, and some pretty good runs out down at Woodhull, some even better runs out at Penn Can and 5 Mile Point. As I said in the interview, I think we're really expecting a breakout year from Dillon.
Yeah, I think, he's 14 years old. It doesn't take much for your hand-eye coordination to come along, hand coordination to right foot, brake. I think he's going to be fine, and he's got a lot of people that can coach him and get him to the front.
That they can. I mean, when you can say that you're getting your advice and experience from Billy Van Pelt, I mean...
yeah, that's pretty good, I think.
It's decent, right? All right, well, we're going to toss it off to a commercial. When we come back, we got 3 more interviews from the Woodhull Arnot Mall Car Show.
You're listening
to Turn 5. Penn Yan Electronics is the official Radio Shack dealer of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. They're also the only Radio Shack dealer in the Penn Yan area. Visit them at 103 Main Street in beautiful downtown Penn Yan for all of your electronics, cable, music, and cell phone needs. Visit Penn Yan Electronics or give them a call, 315-536-7700. Penn Yan Electronics. RaceChaserOnline.com is your home for news, views, and driver interviews. You can catch everything from F1 to IndyCar, NASCAR, short track, and dirt car. You can also find them on Speed 77 Radio Mondays on Shoutcast. Catch Motorsports Madness live at 7 p.m. and the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report Thursdays at 7 p.m. Race Chaser Online. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. If you need karaoke for your bar or party, or if you need the photo booth to create memories that'll last a lifetime, give Stu a call at 315-481-9700, or you can find him on Facebook, search Creekside Entertainment, or find him on the World Wide Web, www.creeksideentertainmentdj.com.
Your dirt track home for news, discussion, and driver interviews along with race results. You're listening to Turn 5.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Turn 5 Racing Podcast, brought to you weekly by Creekside Entertainment, Race Chaser Online, Speed 77 Radio, and Penyan Electronics. Clint, we're off to do some more interviews here from the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show, and our next interview is with a guy who does a little bit of traveling in his 4G street stock. We caught up with a guy who plans to run some Blackrock and some Woodhull races this year. It is the driver of the 4G, Josh Parker.
We're back here at the Arnot Mall show for the Woodhull Raceway here at the Arnot Mall in Horseheads, New York, and stopped by a pretty sharp-looking street stock here for Josh Parker, driver of the 4G. And Josh, we were just talking about schedule and stuff, and you guys kind of bounce around a little bit, run a bunch of different tracks. And what's your experience been like at Woodhull? I mean, a pretty tight place. Handling has got to be at a premium. What are your thoughts on racing there?
Woodhull's a very tough track, and that's what makes it fun. It's a challenge. You got to be on your game. You got to know your setups, have everything right.
What's as far as your history there, what's been some of the better runs you've had there?
I've had a couple seconds. In 2008, I should have had a win. Just bad luck. Dan Gordon blew a tire and spun in front of us with 2 to go, and we took each other out. But I haven't got to victory lane up there yet in a feature. Got a couple heat wins. Hopefully we'll pick up a feature win before the year's out.
You talk about coming up short in that race. I mean, when things happen at Woodhull, they happen quick. And generally speaking, if it's happening in the corners, there's not a whole lot of time to react or places to bail out to.
No, there's not. And usually when I try to bail out, I manage to hit the Uke tires.
Oh. Now, you said, running the street stock and going out to these different tracks is just a lot of fun. I see you've got a pretty big crew with you here today. I mean, that kind of seems to be a recurring theme with this local short track racing scene is guys, families, friends going out and having fun.
That's all it is fun. If you're not having fun, there's no point in doing it. There's no money in racing. If you're not having fun, you're in the wrong business.
A couple street stock guys that we've been able to talk to has talked about the increased purse up at Blackrock. Is that anything that you guys are considering at this point?
Yeah, that's our plan to start the season, is run Blackrock and see how the first couple races go and see if we're going to kind of stick there primarily on Friday nights and hit a few Saturday night shows, or if we're not really competitive up there at the start of the season, we might bounce around after the first 3 or 4 races.
All right. Well, I know this racing business takes a lot of good people and sponsors behind you, and I want to give you an opportunity to thank those folks.
Yeah, the biggest people I got to thank, my aunt and uncle, Gene and Larissa Parker. They went in with me this year. They're partial car owners. They own half, I own half. Thomas Flooring has been the big help this season. They came on board along with John's equipment rental. Mark's Core's back on the car again this year, along with America's Tree Service. Been a big help this season. Hopefully we can put it in victory lane a few times for them.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing you out at Blackrock and Woodhull, and we'll catch up with you again.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys, that's Josh Parker, driver of the 4G. You'll see him out at Blackrock to start the season, and we'll see him down at Woodhull for sure. You're listening to Turn 5.
Next up, we're going to hear from the Driver of the 14 Street Stock, who'll be running at Black Rock and also some select shows at Woodhull, that is Kevin Parsons.
We're making our way up through the Arnot Mall here in Horseheads for the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show, and stopped by a pretty sharp-looking street stock car here that I understand is going to be running out at the Black Rock Speedway, and we're going to catch up with the driver here. That's Kevin Parsons, driver of the 14. And Kevin, got to be looking forward to, especially with the street stocks going to Black Rock. I'm sure everybody's eyeing that increased purse that they've got up there.
Yeah, I think the money's going to be a big factor. Hope the car count comes up. Starting off with a brand new Potter chassis, fresh motor. Hope to have a little better luck this year than we did last year.
I know they're going to be starting a couple weeks after expected. I mean, the weather's kind of wreaked havoc a little bit on us up here in the Northeast, and shooting for that first week there, the last weekend of April. It's hard to not just talk about that increased purse for the street stocks. From a driver that's raced there for years now, is it just the increased purse? I mean, because not only is it the increased purse, but it's going to be more drivers, more competition. That's got to be exciting for a driver.
Yes, definitely. The more cars, the better for me. The money is definitely what is going to draw the cars to Black Rock. I hope it can step it up and stay there all year. We're going to do some traveling, run some ROC shows also, but we'll see what the year brings.
And, let's talk about that ROC tour. I mean, that seems to be pretty popular down here in the Southern Tier. And the other thing I want to talk about with the ROC is that a lot of the street stocks you see on the ROC tour kind of have this different look to them as far as body style. A lot of chassis manufacturers have kind of come up through the last couple of years. Let's talk about that transition, because when we think of street stocks back in the 90s, early 2000s, you see your Chevy Monte Carlos out there and things like that. So let's talk about the transition a little bit.
The biggest transition is the body. The chassis itself is really the same. Your front end geometry is different. They're a lot easier to work on, being all aluminum body. Really, other than that, to me, they're really not a whole lot different.
Okay. Has it changed how you have to set the car up compared to previous years of running a different kind of body style?
What's the biggest thing is it's easier to work on the front end. Moving the control arm mounts rather than washing yourself to death. Stagger is about the same both ways. These cars are definitely a little lighter, so you can get your percentages more around where you want them with your lead placement.
And let's talk about the not only the transition with the cars, but the track itself. If you compared, the early to mid 90s to then having the wall on the inside in the 2000s, and now, it kind of seems like the track has gone from a place where if you could keep your momentum up on the top, you were good to go. Where now a lot of guys run the bottom and do really well down there.
Yes, I didn't really run there much when they had the inside wall. I do remember it. It's definitely a bottom track. There's nights that, yes, you can run the top there. You're more entering than going on the top and coming out on the bottom, which seems to work pretty good for everybody.
Well, I know it takes a lot of people behind you to get this car out here every week, and we're going to give you a chance to thank all those people.
First off, we got to thank Potter Chassis, Service Machine and Tool, Loper Electric, PC Graphics, Ted's Produce, and Half-Axe Acres.
All right, Kevin. Well, we'll certainly see you out at Black Rock as the season gets started here toward the end of April, and good luck to the rest of your season.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. That's Kevin Parsons. He's going to be driving the 14 car out at Black Rock Speedway, and we'll see him out there toward the end of April. You're listening to Turn 5.
Well, that was Kevin Parsons, who's going to be driving the number 14 Street Stock. He's going to be starting his season out at the Black Rock Speedway as well, eyeing that Greg's Auto Body $500 purse for the winners out there weekly. Our last interview for this segment is going to be with the driver of the number 31, who's been wheeling around the Woodhull Raceway for many, many years. That's Mick Seeley.
This is Race Chaser Online and Turn 5 Racing Podcast correspondent Steve Ovens coming to you from the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show here in Horseheads, New York. First driver that we're getting to catch up with today is the driver of the 31 late model, Mick Seeley. Mick, I know you guys have been around the Woodhull Raceway for years and years and years. What keeps you guys coming back and doing the racing gig?
You know, it's a family track. It really is. I was born and raised there. My dad raced there for many, many years. I started racing in '99 and still racing there. And it's close to home too. Yeah. You know, and when I go to the track, it's like home. Everybody come shake your hand, group hugs. You know, and it's like a family show. It really is.
For anybody that's never been to Woodhull, use a couple of words. How would you describe Woodhull Raceway?
Tight and fun.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a bull ring. That's why they call it the toughest bull ring around. And it's a short track and a lot of action.
The corners. I don't think the corners could be any different from each other. You've got turns 1 and 2, high banked. Really a lot of room to race if you're trying to move around, and really 3 and 4 is kind of top line, low line, wherever you're best suited, for that particular night. But 3 and 4 is certainly a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter. When you guys set up for a track like that, do you have to set up for one set of corners, or do you try and find a balance that helps you get through both of them?
You really tried a balance. Like you said, 1 and 2 is a little bit different, where there's no wall, so you can kind of let it hang out a little bit. And if you happen to drop off the backstretch, it's okay. 3 and 4 is really tight. There's a wall there. But basically, I tried 3 and 4 because coming to checker flag, that's where you wanted to hook up the most, come out turn 4.
Over the years racing at Woodhull, do you have any favorite memories of racing there?
Yes, a couple years ago, I won my very first feature in a 360 late model on Mother's Day, and I lost my mom that year. So it worked out perfect. And then the year to come, later in the year, I lost my grandfather. Then, different things took place, but definitely Mother's Day weekend, my very first feature win, had my whole family there. It was priceless.
I'm sure that's real special for you guys. Looking forward to 2014, back with the late model. What are you guys looking forward to this year?
I got a couple new sponsors and stuff, and I am a low budget team, and I still have some room for bigger sponsors. But I'm going to try to do some BRP racing, the tour racing.
Oh, cool.
Woodhull's home track, and I like the track, but I'd like to try some of the Little Valley and stuff. I see Gary Montgomery's got the BRP tour racing going again, which is good. Thanks, Gary. But I'd like to try some tour racing.
You talked about some new sponsors. Before we leave you today, we want to give you a chance to talk about those sponsors.
One of my biggest sponsors in my employment is Chilson Wilcox, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. I'm out of Paint Post, New York. One of my newer sponsors is Louts Trucking, Calkin Motors, Gary Gitchell Electric, and of course I cannot do this without my dad, Rick Seeley.
That's a family deal, and believe me, guys, this 31 late model you're going to see out at Woodhull. You're going to see out on some BRP Tour races, and we'll be out there to see you as well. So we're going to talk to some more drivers here at the Arnot Mall Car Show. This is Steve Ovens reporting for Race Chaser Online and the Turn 5 podcast.
Well, Clint, there's 3 pretty good interviews with a couple different drivers with a couple different mindsets for the season. You got Josh Parker, who likes to travel around. Sounds like they're going to be traveling for some of the bigger money shows. I was talking to him just after the interview. They're going with some different equipment, some dart heads on their street stock car, eyeing that $500 purse put up by Greg's Auto Body at the street stock division at Black Rock this year. And that, as we've talked the last couple weeks, I mean, that was a really big deal. And we talked on the Madness tonight, and with another interview we did tonight, there could be upwards of 30 cars on opening night.
Boy, I can't remember the last time, other than the sportsman class or a late model touring show, something like that there's been consies at Black Rock Speedway. And I think it's a win for the drivers. It's a win for the fans.
Absolutely. And it's exciting to hear about other drivers that are going to be coming to, I say, our track. It's our home track.
Right.
It's exciting to hear about drivers coming in from out of town who've not been weekly with the track before, coming in, eyeing that purse that's being put up. We talked to Kevin Parsons. He was one of the cars who was pretty much strictly a Black Rock car, that was out there at the Woodhull Car Show, showing off that Potter chassis. And I know Kevin's really looking forward to the season, getting that Potter chassis out front, and again in that street stock division, eyeing that purse. So he'll be fun to watch. And then, of course, ending things with Mick Seeley. Mick Seeley has been a staple at Woodhull for as long as I can remember. I mean, he was down there when I was racing in the Bandits, and that was well over 10 years ago. So,
yeah,
he's coming back this year with the BRP Can-Am late model, and he's actually said that he was going to be following the tour. He was, happy that Gary was able to put together the schedule they have. He's looking to travel down to some shows at Little Valley, which he said he'd never been to before, and so it's good to hear that positive feedback.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Mick's he's a nice guy, and I know the Seeley family. My dad worked for I believe it's his Uncle Louie at the town of Starkey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, yep.
And so I know the whole family. I've talked to Mick a few times. I've seen him grow up and come through the ranks of the street stocks into the super stocks and now the BRPs. He's got a real good chassis underneath him this year, and every chassis that he's had, he's kind of it's evolved a little better each time. So I think now is the time for Mick, and I think he could have probably one of the best BRP years of his career.
Absolutely. He'll be fun to watch down there at Woodhull. Well, we're going to go off to break, and when we come back, we've got our last 3 interviews from the Woodhull Raceway Car Show.
You're listening
to Turn 5. Penn Yan Electronics is the official Radio Shack dealer of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. They're also the only Radio Shack dealer in the Penn Yan area. Visit them at 103 Main Street in beautiful downtown Penn Yan for all of your electronics, cable, music, and cell phone needs. Visit Penn Yan Electronics or give them a call, 315-536-7700. Penn Yan Electronics. RaceChaserOnline.com is your home for news, views, and driver interviews. You can catch everything from F1 to IndyCar, NASCAR, short track, and dirt car. You can also find them on Speed 77 Radio Mondays on Shoutcast. Catch Motorsports Madness live at 7 p.m. and the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report Thursdays at 7 p.m. Race Chaser Online. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. If you need karaoke for your bar or party, or if you need the photo booth to create memories that'll last a lifetime, give Stu a call at 315-481-9700, or you can find him on Facebook, search Creekside Entertainment, or find him on the World Wide Web, www.creeksideentertainmentdj.com.
Your dirt track home for news, discussion, and driver interviews along with race results. You're listening to Turn 5.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Turn 5 Racing Podcast, brought to you weekly by Penn Yan Electronics, Race Chaser Online, Speed 77 Radio, and Creekside Entertainment. Clint, we're off for our final 3 interviews from the Arnot Mall Car Show, and we're going to speak to Phil Yaw. We're going to speak to Ryan Austin, who had a really sharp paint scheme for his front-wheel drive 4-cylinder. And then we'll finish it off with Teddy Morsman, who we've become quite familiar with out at the Black Rock Speedway as far as the Street Stock 100 weekend has transpired over the last couple of years. We got to speak with Teddy. So let's get to those 3 interviews.
We're making our way back through the mall here at the Arnot Mall in Horseheads, and stopped by to talk with our good friend Phil Yaw, who's been on the show with us before, debuting a sharp-looking crate sportsman, 98, blue and yellow with the orange numbers. And Phil, I got to hand it to you. You've done it again. Another sharp-looking ride for this year.
Yeah, I got to thank Bob Johnson for building me a body, and Pilot Designs for his awesome work that he always does.
And I know we talked and kind of followed along with you as you've been getting her built. Excited to get out there?
Yeah, but I will wait for better weather, though.
Yeah. The weather has certainly been a challenge. I've talked to some guys who said, you know what, this weather doesn't bother me too much. It gives me a little bit more time to kind of tinker and tune. But all the guys that come out here to the mall show, you guys are under the gun just a little bit more because you want to get everything ready and looking nice for the show.
Yeah, been busy the last week trying to get everything ready for the mall and everything. We didn't have any vinyl or anything on the car a week ago. And to crunch it all into a week was pretty tough, but we got it done. It's the first time I've done a mall show in 5 years, and you forget how hard it is to get a car done, even if you do get a car early in the season.
Yeah, and we see the car here is looking sharp. What between now and the start of the season, what do you have left to get it ready to go?
Scaling. Adjusting the valves, just some odds and ends. If they were to get the race in 2 weeks from now, we'd have it done, no problem.
Oh, that's good. That's got to be a good feeling, having her ready to go and just having to scale her up. I want to thank you for your time this morning, and I want to give you a chance to highlight all the folks that are helping you out this year.
All right. Maria's Tavern, Sparky's Engines, J&J, Motorsports, Southern Tier Auto Recycling, Choice Auto, Cabins to Castles, Bleachers Bar and Grill, my family, everybody that's helped me. It's greatly appreciated.
And as soon as the weather breaks here, what are we looking at for first show of the season?
I'm going to try to get a practice in at Black Rock, and probably in the off weeks at Black Rock, we'll probably be going to Skyline or Woodhull. All
right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Phil Yaw, driver of the 98 Sportsman. We'll see him out at all the tracks we cover here on Turn 5. And again, check out our Facebook page, Turn 5 Racing Podcast. You can see some sharp photos from Phil's car and all the other cars here at the Arnot Mall Show. You're listening to Turn 5.
Well, Clint, that was Phil Yaw, and Phil has been on the show before, and I'm excited to see him move up to the Sportsman division. I think I know he's got a lot to learn this year, but I think he's going to be a quick learner in that Sportsman car.
Well, he does seem to be a quick learner. He raced 4 cylinders for a long time, but he was competitive early. IMCA, he got his new chassis last year, wins a championship in his second year. So I think that... it's totally different.
And the car
class.
is sharp too.
Nice looking car, and of course it's got the big ladybug for Holly. So
yeah,
and we'd like to take a little second to mention that, and
should be a good year for Phil.
Going to be a good year.
We wish him a lot of luck, and thank him for his time out there at the show. Let's get to our next interview with Ryan Austin.
Well, we've made our way up to the top side of the mall here and came across a car that from the front wheel drive division at Woodhull. Ryan Austin is the driver, and man, when you walk by this car, the first thing you notice is the welcome home troops, and it's really a theme throughout the car, and that was something I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, my grandfather built the car, and he served in Vietnam. We just want to thank everybody that served and those who haven't returned. So we did the tribute for the car, and here it is. And
it's pretty awesome. Is this the first time you guys have done this, or is this something you guys done in the past too?
No, we ran this all last year, and he had it on his car the year before that. So this is the third year we're doing this kind of theme, so we're excited for it.
That's awesome. We haven't been down the Woodhull way too much the last couple seasons, but I imagine when you guys are at the track or at mall shows like this, it gets pretty good reaction with the race fans.
Yeah, everybody, we get people all the time come up in the pits, thank us for supporting the troops, to check out the car, and everybody seems to like it, so...
I see here that there even was a magazine article of some kind here. I mean, it's a really cool thing. I noticed up on the roof you've got different where people are stationed at different locations all over the world, and just a really sharp looking car. Let's talk about the season coming up, 2014. You guys planning a full schedule for Woodhull?
We're not sure on a full schedule yet or not, but we got a competitive car. We won a feature last year, and we're just going out to have fun and see if we can get a few wins in with it and support the troops while we're at it.
That's awesome. I've talked to a few drivers so far today, and they said, the stickers say it, New York's toughest bull ring. I mean, I got to imagine that even for a sportsman or a street stock, it's tough. But I got to imagine for these front-wheel drive cars, it's still a challenge.
Oh, yeah, it's a big challenge because we're basically running on street tires. We don't get race tires, and it gets tough to wheel this thing around sometimes, but it's a lot of fun, and I go back every time.
All right, well, before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity to thank all the folks to help you get this car going every week.
Thanks to my grandfather. He's the main one behind this. I took over driving for him, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now, and thank my dad for being there, supporting me, and X Factor Graphics for doing all the POWs graphics on it, and everybody else, thank you.
All right. Well, guys, let me tell you, if you get a chance to get down to Woodhull this year, you're going to want to check this car out. Just a great tribute to all of our troops who have come back or have not made it back or still serving overseas. And Ryan Austin going to be flying the colors all season long. So you guys are listening to Turn 5.
And we're going to wrap up with our last interview from the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show. That was with the driver of the 44 in the Street Stock Division, Teddy Morsman.
Well, we've caught up with our next driver here at the Arnot Mall Car Show. We're going to talk to Teddy Morsman, driver of the 44 in the Street Stock Division. And I'm sure you guys are looking forward to another good year here in 14.
Yeah, we're looking for another good year here. We've come up short of the championship in the last couple of years, but we got a lot of changes on the car and a lot of upgrades, and we're hoping to go chase down that championship this year.
And I imagine, if you come up short in the championship, that's got to be your focus. Is what are the little things we can do to improve ourselves for the next year? It sounds like that's what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, we kind of went home and did our homework, watched videos, and we kind of see where our downfalls are and our good spots are. So we're trying to capitalize on them, and hopefully we can bring it home victory lane.
For 2014, now you guys doing a full season at Woodhull?
Yeah, that's what the plans are. Kind of tossed up about going to Black Rock, see what we can do over there. But that's still up in the air.
I know they've secured a sponsor for their street stock division there and jacked up the purse a little bit. I imagine that's got to be on a lot of the street stock drivers' minds.
Yeah, that's a definitely nice purse over there this year. I think that's better than any track around here. So we'll probably definitely going over and trying it out a couple times.
All right. Well, when we are out here at the mall show, it's a good time to kind of take some time to highlight the sponsors. I'll give you a second to talk about those sponsors.
Yeah, we picked up a few good sponsors this year. Simmons and Rockwell come on board. The Ridge Runner Cafe, Full Board Transport, Clark's Oil Company, Ardco Pro, Steuben Auto Service, Fisher's Tree Service, and there are a lot of good sponsors. I think my RPM Enterprises, Lightning FX, Rogers Engines, they're all good sponsors.
Yeah, and to do this race deal, you got to have some good people behind you. So it certainly looks like you guys have that this year.
Yes, you definitely got to have good people behind you.
All right, well, that's Teddy Morsman. You can see him out at the Woodhull Raceway and certainly a few shows out at Black Rock as well. And we're going to walk down through here and see who else we can catch up with. You're listening to Turn 5.
Well, Clint, that's all of our interviews from the Woodhull Raceway Arnot Mall Car Show. Great show down there, 32 cars in attendance. It's really that kickoff to the season. I know, as I said earlier with Paul Harkenrider, it's not on-track action, but it does feel good to see the race cars down there in the mall. I always get a little nostalgic when I see the cars sitting down there at the mall.
It just means one thing. Racing season's right around the corner.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we cannot wait for that. We're going to toss off to a break, and we come back, NASCAR picks, and Clint didn't win this week.
You're listening
to Turn 5. Penn Yan Electronics is the official Radio Shack dealer of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. They're also the only Radio Shack dealer in the Penn Yan area. Visit them at 103 Main Street in beautiful downtown Penn Yan for all of your electronics, cable, music, and cell phone needs. Visit Penn Yan Electronics or give them a call, 315-536-7700. Penn Yan Electronics. RaceChaserOnline.com is your home for news, views, and driver interviews. You can catch everything from F1 to IndyCar, NASCAR, short track, and dirt car. You can also find them on Speed 77 Radio Mondays on Shoutcast. Catch Motorsports Madness live at 7 p.m. and the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report Thursdays at 7 p.m. Race Chaser Online. Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast. If you need karaoke for your bar or party, or if you need the photo booth to create memories that'll last a lifetime, give Stu a call at 315-481-9700, or you can find him on Facebook, search Creekside Entertainment, or find him on the World Wide Web, www.creeksideentertainmentdj.com.
Your dirt track home for news, discussion, and driver interviews, along with race results. You're listening to Turn 5.
Welcome back, race fans, of the Turn 5 Racing Podcast, brought to you by Race Chaser Online, Speed 77 Radio, Penn Yan Electronics, and Creekside Entertainment. Gentlemen, it's time for our NASCAR picks. We're going to be going to Martinsville this week. Let's recap from Fontana first. Last week, I took Kevin Harvick.
Laid an egg.
Let's just say he laid an egg again. Thank goodness he's in the chase already. So I got 1 point with 1 point as he did qualify fourth in knockout qualifying. Clint, you went with old 6-time. Came home with a 24th place finish. That'll get you 2 points for getting second with our group. And he was qualified third, so you got a point for knockout qualifying. Brad, the big winner.
To the top of the list.
Making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback, baby.
Well, for 1 week, he made the top of the list.
He did. He got 3 points for finishing first in our group, and 1 for knockout qualifying because Matt Kenseth was on the pole. So that'll take Brad with 4 points. So let's recap point totals. Clint still on top, and he extended his points lead. Are you kidding me? He's up to 18 points. I'm stuck in second with 9 points, and Brad just getting that choo-choo warmed up, man. Here comes B-Rad with 8 points. So tightening up as we head to Martinsville. And sadly enough, I'm going to be picking first again this week. We're going to Martinsville. This guy had a horrible week. Had the race in the bag. When he cut a tire down, my girlfriend was throwing stuff around the house here. She was rooting for Jimmy. And
yes,
we're
going have the race
to,
in the bag. You're right.
He did have the race in the bag. We're going to the house that Jimmy built and HMS built. We're going to Martinsville, so I'm going to take old 6-time Jimmy Johnson. Clint, you pick second this week.
I am going with my favorite driver, Denny Hamlin.
Ooh, good pick. Coming off the sinus infection. Brad is going to be picking third this week. As he won the previous week. So, Brad, JJ's off the board. Denny Hamlin's off the board. Who you taking at Martinsville?
I am going to have to go with Dan. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Fooled you. I'm going to have to pull a Clint after this one, and I'm going to have to go with I feel weird calling him this, but the old man, Jeff Gordon.
Big Daddy. Going with Jeff. I got to tell you, I was between old Six Time and Big Daddy. Jeff Gordon's a good pick. He's another guy who probably thought after Johnson cut down the tire, probably thought he had the race in the bag.
Can I make a supplemental pick just in case something happens with Denny's sinuses and he can't make the race?
I don't know, Brad. What do you think?
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I want to go with Kyle Busch. If
Wow. Okay. Very good. Well, folks, those are our picks for Martinsville. Have yourselves a great week. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, on turn5.podbean.com. Make sure you support all of our sponsors, Creekside Entertainment, Race Chaser Online, and Penyan Electronics. We'll
share all of us with your friends.
Share our page with your friends on Facebook. We will see you next week for another edition
of Turn 5.